Baz, you're a bit close to that fire. Aren't you afraid you might singe your eyebrows?
There's someone in there. Some skinny bloke with a dodgy Cockney accent.
Who's got a dodgy Cockney accent?
Some gadget in the fire?
Probably David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. You know, like in Girl in the Fireplace, which we happen to be doing this week.
Or the 14th Doctor, eh? Topical.
Here he comes again.
That there is what you might call a doorway to a place of enchantment. Mary Poppins?
Not David Tennant then. I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Hello, and welcome to Time Ram. Hello, and welcome to Time Ram. Joining us on the flight tonight, we have Mr. Rupert Booth.
Hello.
And Mr. Paul Ferry.
Hello.
You're listening to Time Ram, the Doctor Who-based podcast, in which we take a random number generator and we generate a random Doctor from 1 to 13 and then a random story from 1 to 300. And then we ram them together to see what happens. Tonight we have Jodie Whittaker in The Girl in the Fireplace. Hooray!
Yay!
Yay! Gentlemen.
This is groundbreaking for Doctor Who, isn't it? This is a groundbreaking episode.
It is.
So many ways.
It is.
It's our first... I was going to say it's the first time we've rammed Jodie Whittaker, but that just sounds so wrong in a multitude of ways.
Don't even do that. No.
I would say that.
If you substitute one of the male ones, I mean, ramming John no.
Yeah, but he's asking for it, isn't he?
Maybe we shouldn't ram any of them. Maybe this was a badly named podcast.
Yeah.
We did give it at least 5 minutes thought, so I mean,
we did,
Yeah.
and it was a quality 5.
Well, the others were worse.
Yeah.
It was the only one that didn't contain a profanity, so in that sense,
What were the other titles?
I don't know. I was sure it was.
There was motherfucking snakes. That was one of them. So, gentlemen, how have you been?
Oh, very well, thank you. I'm up north in Durham at the moment, making things which I haven't done for a while, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And the air is pure and clear, and the people are sparse. It's a really nice break from the middle of London.
I've been ill after almost 2 years of avoiding COVID. It's caught up with me.
So that's why the people are sparse. They've all got COVID, you see, and they're all.
Well, none of them wear masks.
No.
Fully jabbed up, so I'm not dead. There we go.
Yeah, and that's good. That's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah, because that would make recording this program really difficult.
It would be a bastard, yeah.
Yeah. It would be unfortunate, yeah.
I mean, Adam would kind of, he'd slip in and eventually would forget that you ever existed. But
Adam would slip in.
It would take a while. Look, I'm not the one talking about ramming Jodie Whittaker.
I'd be the Blairmeyer of Time Ram. Nobody's gonna get that, are they?
I don't get that, so
First season of Last of the Summer. You see, there you go, illustrating the point.
Yeah.
First season of Last of the Summer Wine.
Oh yes, of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
Michael Bates.
Yeah, Michael Bates. Yeah, if you said Michael Bates, I would have got it. Perhaps. So, I don't think I've even seen any of those episodes. I've seen them from when Foggy joins, but I haven't seen any Blairmeyer episodes.
I think I've seen a clip of Blairmeyer. But remarkably, Last of the Summer Wine completely exists, I think. It doesn't even have any black and white episodes.
Yeah. The disturbing thing is they were all probably younger than us.
Yeah.
Playing these pensioners in the early ones.
Troughton was younger than us when he was playing the Doctor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good times.
So, starting on a downer.
Okay.
Let's proceed with the Jodie Whittaker episode.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker.
That'll cheer us.
Yeah. So, we've got young Jodie Whittaker in
Yeah.
in The Girl in the Fireplace,
Yeah.
Yes.
which opens in Versailles with
Yeah.
lots of screaming and people running
Mhm.
about.
Mhm.
And
Great Doctor Who opening.
great Doctor Who opening. It's a new series episode. We're sort of
Yep.
pre-credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
By one Mr. Stephen Moffat, who shows promise.
He's a talented young writer. And he
You
could
know,
go places.
I think
Yeah,
he'll go far in Doctor
yeah,
Who.
yeah. So yeah, we see people screaming and running about, and then the king comes in, and he tells the young lady that they're under attack,
Mm.
and she calls for the only man that she's ever loved, which is not the king. She's a bit upset about.
Mm.
It's the doctor.
Is he going to be more upset or less upset?
Because it's not the only man she's ever loved; it's the only woman
No.
she's ever loved. So yeah,
Indeed.
immediately we're in new territory.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be quite so on the nose.
no, possibly not.
No.
You know,
We might have to rework the dialogue on that bit.
The
Yeah,
only person I've ever loved.
well, that would do it. Yeah, yeah.
the only one I've ever loved.
Yes. Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
are. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
one. Good.
Yeah.
Well, that was clearly my profound bit, and the cats didn't squeak through it. So win.
Hey.
Yay.
So we get the titles, and then we get a caption.
Yeah.
3,000 years later.
He loved his captions, Moffat, didn't he? He'd stick a caption in anywhere.
Not as
Mm.
much as Chibnall. Chibnall's is full of captions.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was
Big
almost
yellow
waiting for one
captions.
saying the next scene.
So we can expect more of them then.
Yeah. Quick approaching.
After titles.
Yeah. By Chris Chibnall.
You are watching Doctor Who.
Or are you?
Sorry, I'm having a breakdown.
Chris is lying down. Voices in head. No, Chris. No, Chris.
Yes.
Chris. No.
I don't get paid enough for creating these captions.
Bugger all this for a lark.
The wife left me this morning. She's taken the cat. There's no milk in the fridge. I'm going down the shop.
Do you want anything? Once again, listener, we amuse ourselves.
Yes, most other audio podcasts don't give you this much discussion of captions.
for reason.
Thank you, Doctor.
In the 2006 version, the Doctor, the 10th Doctor, Mickey and Rose emerged from the TARDIS and board an abandoned spaceship
Mm-hmm.
in the 51st century. But of course, we're not doing the 2006 version.
They are not.
We're doing the 2000 and
Something or other. So we've
Something.
basically got two choices for companion sets.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to go for the second lot.
the second lot. The Dan set.
The Dan set.
The Dan set. Yeah, yeah.
The Dan set.
Yeah. Well, one, it fits
Yes.
in terms of numbers.
Mhm.
Two, I can't be doing with Ryan.
Why can't you be doing with the Ryan, Rupert?
Look at him. Look at Ryan. Because he's not well thought out as a character.
Yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere.
We don't know who Ryan is, really, do we?
And because I'm going to say it, the performance is, I can't decide if it's brilliant or appalling. I do not know.
Yeah.
I would describe it as minimal effort.
Yeah, Ryan's minimal.
Mm.
And a lot of the time is minimized, so you could do without him anyway. So let's go with the Dan set.
Yeah. So that sets us in what, 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically right in the middle of Flux.
Right in the middle of Flux. Yeah. Yeah.
So Flux, that great John Pertwee story. Isn't our problem today. It took up the entirety of season 9.
So the Doctor and Yaz and Dan. Excellent.
The pirate.
Yeah, it's quite a similar dynamic with the Doctor and Yaz as it is to the Doctor and Rose in the original version, isn't it? Where she's kind of quietly pining, but the Doctor just hasn't really noticed.
Yeah. So he goes off and has a ding dong with another woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
he's so unaware that she's got
That's
an evening.
really going to piss the ass off, actually.
Yes.
This episode is, she's going to end up stabbing him.
But it really pisses Rose off. You can
Yeah.
kind of see it in the actual episode. That it's a bit like a Chibnall episode in that the regular companions don't get much to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of little moments that you can see that Rose is just not terrifically happy.
Seething. Absolutely
Yes.
seething.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, unlike Mickey, of course, will be kind of going to the doctor. Can you not see?
Well, it could be Dan's first trip in the TARDIS, I suppose. He might be going,
Could be
hey,
Dan's first trip
spaceship,
in the
you know.
TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sort of around about episode 2 of Flux, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Fine. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Dan's had first story. This is his first. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan's first appeared in, I don't know, the War Machines, and now he's
That wasn't bad, that one, actually. In all fairness, I think Chibnall has actually managed to construct a decent story there.
yeah. I reckon he'll do well this time. He's
Yeah, and
he's
it
all
was
right.
Masterstroke said it in 1966. That must
Yeah.
be really expensive.
Yeah, the fans of the 10th Doctor and Rose really don't like you mentioning that he goes off and has a fling with another woman in the middle of their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't fit the series arc at all,
No,
does it?
it
I mean,
doesn't.
I think it is a case of RTD letting Moffat do his own thing.
Yeah. In retrospect, they should have pushed it earlier into that series. They should have pushed it near the beginning. And it would have made that series hang together better, because I think there's a series of fairly weak stories at the beginning of that season. But
it's
not go into that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a variable season, really, isn't it? Season 2. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not the best. Anyway, so they're on this spaceship. There's signs of repair, and they can tell that the warp engines are running at full power, and they can smell sort of roast beef, which is nice. Yeah, and then they find an 18th century French fireplace. It's a very Moffat touch. And they look through the fireplace, and there's a young girl, Renette, and she's in 1727. So the Doctor realizes it's a spatial temporal hyperlink. The fireplace rotates, and he's in a room. But it's now nighttime. It's months later for her, and it's a very sort of Moffat scene in that there's kind of a ticking clock in the background. But the clock on the mantelpiece is broken, and it seems like an error, but in typical Moffat style, it turns out to be significant.
Can't see much changing here.
I don't think it changed much at all. I mean, it's spot on, really, isn't it? You can't improve it.
No, I don't think the Doctor's going to be. I don't think the characters are going to be behaving in any particularly different way.
Yeah.
And the 10th Doctor and the 13th Doctor are pretty similar. They don't approach things in a different way at all, really.
Yeah.
Except she'd be walking around in her Groucho Marx stance.
Yes.
Bless her, yeah. Jodie Whittaker, she does have this kind of Groucho Marx walk, which she does, which once you've seen it, you can't really.
You can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it, yeah.
Mind you, is it as good as Capaldi's run? I used to love Capaldi's run.
What was Capaldi's run like?
Well, it's just the oddest sort of run. It's clearly done on purpose. No one runs like that. I could demonstrate it, but I couldn't explain it. Go and look at a shot of Capaldi running.
I'm going to have to now, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Unless you care to demonstrate it for us, yeah.
Won't see my legs.
Right, I mean, Does it compare with Patrick McGowan's run?
It's
shoulder up.
It's less
shoulder up, running like a crab.
The shoulder up, the shoulder, yeah.
I was watching some. While I've been sick, I've been watching some episodes of Columbo, and I watched I think it's the first Patrick McGowan one, the one he directed, where he's a spy.
Oh yeah.
And the number of obviously he's doing it on purpose. He's having a lot of fun with it, because the number of times he says "be seeing you" to people, about 3 times in the first minute.
If you have an accusation to make, do it.
It's clear that McGowan only did that show because he just really got on with Peter Falk, isn't it?
Absolutely. I really respected him. He thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Columbo was quality.
Which it was,
And drinking.
And the drinking. The endless drinking.
Go ahead! Time round!
So, yeah, the Doctor turns around and realizes there's a clockwork man under Renette's bed. It's been scanning her, but it says that she's incomplete. And I mean, they play this scene with all the scares they can get out of it, really, don't they? But
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's going to come off as well. I hate bashing Jodie Whittaker's performance, but I think Tennant would have sold all that an awful lot better.
Yeah.
I think it might have come a bit flat.
I mean,
it's difficult to define.
If she had a really good script, she might rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
I think she does better in better scripts.
Yeah.
But I think the characterization is pretty flat a lot of the time.
Pretty thin.
Yeah.
Really thinking about it. Yeah, and in that case, you've got to really rely on the actor's charisma.
Yeah.
As you could with someone like Pertwee, for example,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think we should recast Renette as well, because although Sophia Myles obviously was still within an age range where she could have played it by the Jodie Whittaker era, I don't know. I think we should recast it just to make changes. I was thinking Holiday Granger, who's she's the actress that's in that Strike and stuff like that.
Holiday Granger, all right? I don't know her.
I have no idea of Holiday Granger.
No.
It sounds a bit like a Shadows album from the 50s.
I'm going to Google her so I know who you're talking about. Holiday.
I was watching the making of the Obi-Wan series earlier on over dinner. I can call it tea, actually. I'm back up here over me tea.
Over your tea.
And they were talking about, marvelously about how they de-aged Ewan McGregor with dots on his face and all that sort of thing. So I mean, theoretically, with that kind of technology available, Helen could be a shoo-in. Sorry.
Did you recognize her when you Googled her?
No, not at all. No.
Well, she's a jolly good actress.
Okay, I'll take you over it.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Passed without opposition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because neither of us have a clue who you're talking about.
She's still about the right age. She looks.
Well, we're generally terrible at casting people in the more recent ones. So
I think you're much better than I am, certainly.
Yeah. I haven't got an alternative for you.
Current actors than I do.
Yeah.
The people that I find hard to cast when we do modern ones is the characters who are the kind of generic pretty men. I just can never think of like generic pretty men actors.
Yeah.
Listener, send us generic pretty man actors of the modern day that we can cast in Time Wrap. And don't actually send them to us, obviously. That would be illegal. And you don't know
what I'm.
No, don't kidnap them.
You know what I mean, though. When we do something from the 70s, you've got all these character actors.
Oh, totally.
That you can, that
Michael
you can
Robbins
put
for
in
everything.
A certain, you can put in
a
certain role.
There's Harry Styles. He's around.
Just cast him as everything. He's a sort of actor.
He's a sort of actor, yeah. But actresses, I thought Tuppence Middleton. She's available. Well,
yeah,
necessarily available.
Actually,
but
that's of the.
Yeah, Tuppence Middleton. She's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have her. We've named two modern actresses. One's called Tuppence and one's called Holiday. I think that says something about.
Yeah, this is where we're at, I'm afraid. Yeah.
It says that we're all going on a Tuppence holiday.
Yes.
Told you it was the Shadows. Right all along, I knew it. Damn you, Hank. I will destroy you.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Okay, so where were we?
Well, I was de-aging Helen Mirren.
Yes.
With your mind.
With my mind, yes.
Yeah. I think possibly less expensive option would be to cast a younger actress.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, fine. You haven't got Chibnall's vision as a showrunner. That's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah, well, I'll live with that.
One thing I was thinking, does anyone know if Mme de Pompadour was bisexual? I think he said bipolar.
I have no idea.
Because I was thinking, I thought, Chibnall's going to make a point out of this. It's going to be a point. It's going to be a lesson, and it's going to be.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of lesbians in 18th century France? I don't know.
I mean, you'd think.
They might well have been. I mean, they were pretty, easygoing.
I mean, Tennant does come in kind of going, oh, the French, they know how to party. I mean, party,
There's no real information. I mean, yes, apparently Mme de Pompadour did break off sexual relations with the king in 1750, which was interpreted as she wasn't that interested in sex at all.
Right.
I mean, there's no real information one way or the other, but I mean, there were no scandals associated with her.
What kind of a scandal in those days, though?
Well, this is the Palace of Versailles. So there were a bunch of nobles there, and basically they've got nothing to do. They're in this palace all day, and all they can do is gossip.
Right.
And what they gossip about is each other. And they have constant affairs. They're always having affairs with each other. And it's all about the chase. And then,
Bradley Walsh is back.
Yeah. the consummation is the end of it, and then they move on. And so it's constant. It's sort of men chasing women, women chasing men. There's no information about whether there's women chasing women or men chasing men.
Right.
The record is silent on that front.
Totally would have been then.
Yeah.
Totally would have been, surely.
I mean, there's this interesting character called Le Chevalier, who starts off presenting as a man and wins a lot of duels, a very good duelist. And then later on presents as a woman. So basically changes sex. And interestingly, at this point, we don't actually know. Chases gender. We don't know at this point what her birth sex was. So we can't be sure. We just don't know. And they would put on a lot of plays. And in these plays, the women would play the male parts and the female parts because that was safer, basically.
What would the men do?
Watch the play, I guess, yeah. But yeah, there was no scandal associated with Mme de Pompadour because she was bourgeois. She wasn't from a noble family. So as the king's mistress, she had an official position. It was a political position. And there's people constantly trying to take her down. And so she couldn't afford any scandal. And she stayed there for years. I mean, she was really good friends with the king's wife, the queen. And she was secure in her position for a long time. It's clearly a very experienced political operator. She turns out to be a really interesting character that the episode didn't quite do justice to, really.
No.
Yeah.
So Madame de Pompadour may or may not have been a lesbian.
May or may not have been. I mean, that's about as much as you say about anyone in history.
Definitely French.
Definitely French. Well, that'll do for us.
She was definitely French, yeah.
Unless she wasn't French, in which case.
In which case, everyone could just shut up. So,
The verboids are probably the best dirty joke in Doctor Who.
They're hermaphroditic plants.
A lot of plants are.
So there you go. It's based on science.
No, they'll ship anything.
There are probably 11 and handle shippers out there. You just have to drill a hole where his mouth is, and you're all set.
You know he needs the room. I've seen it in pictures.
I'm not saying you're not a fan. I'm saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Doctor Who gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times. They all say who is Doctor Who?
Do you collect Doctor Who? Do you have Doctor Who items and you don't know that you collect Doctor Who? For all things in the Doctor Who collecting world, tune in to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, a Direction Point Network podcast. I am Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I have been collecting Doctor Who for 41 years. We have popular features like collection protection and the most outrageous offer, anywhere you get your podcasts.
You're listening to Time Ram, and whatever you do, keep time ramming.
Okay, so we're doing some plot. So, okay, there. They find a clockwork man.
Oh my God, is that all we're up to? Jesus.
That's what we're up to. So, Renette's scared this clockwork man. So what the Doctor does is he takes it back to the ship and freezes it. And then it just teleports away. It just, it's enough. It's off.
Again, nothing's going to change here. I've got a feeling nothing much is going to change plot-wise at all.
It's really, I'm just reading what's happening. Yeah, this is really.
I mean, it's very tightly written as it is. There is nothing extraneous.
Okay, well, we do have different companions. So, Yaz and Dan. Dan's up for that. He's up for a bit of danger. So,
he's got his pirate costume on.
Yeah.
He has this encyclopedic knowledge of history, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah.
Dan has whatever knowledge is needed for the episode.
So he would know all about Madame de Pompadour.
Yeah. He'd be the one saying she may or may not have been a lesbian.
Well, he'd know more about it than we do, certainly.
Yeah.
He'd have done his research.
He's Dan.
I love me fucking history, me.
And is he going all kind of like, all right, calm down at the robots?
Probably, yeah.
Or is that just a dreadful Liverpudlian stereotype?
Yeah, I blame Harry Enfield.
Yeah, we all blame Harry Enfield.
Hey, Cubs, that's my video. Give that back. Yeah, but that's my freaking Nintendo. Hey, but that's my CD player. You thieving bastards. Me? It's people like you who are giving Scousers a bad name. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the Doctor goes back to France, and this is where he meets Renette again, who is now all grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I said he doesn't mean
she has become
she
a
goes
woman.
back to France and meets Renette. Yeah, Renette is now a lady.
Yep.
Played by a young actress called Tuppence or Holiday, perhaps. And basically, this is where Renette plants one on her.
Yeah.
Just snogs her.
So Doctor Who's first lesbian moment.
Which is more than Jodie Whittaker actually had on the show. Which
I thought was a bloody shame. I thought, oh, really? Yeah. You know, all the other new series Doctors have got to have a snog apart from the woman. Right.
Yeah, does she actually kiss anybody at any point? I don't think
No, she doesn't kiss anyone ever.
No.
She doesn't even glance at them lasciviously.
No.
Tom Baker glanced at them lasciviously. I've always thought that's a bit kind of, okay. Now, actually, I'm not a fan of the Doctor planting kisses on people anyway, so it was kind of refreshing in that way, but I didn't think it was a little bit regressive.
Yeah, for a new series Doctor, she's actually completely sexless. Which none of the others have.
And that's the first female Doctor then. That's something.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of good about it, don't get me wrong, there's been an awful lot of good about it, but that really struck me.
Yeah.
She's not allowed then. Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Because it's interesting, isn't it? The Doctor kind of changes presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
She changes pronouns.
Yeah.
Does she change sexuality? Based on what we've seen, possibly not.
But again, we haven't seen much, have we? She wasn't allowed to.
No.
Yeah.
A retrogressive step, perhaps, or I don't know, maybe a personal choice on behalf of Chibble. If I was in charge, I wouldn't make the Doctor interested in anyone.
No, the Doctor should be asexual or cryptosexual.
Cryptosexual, wow.
Cryptosexual.
It's hidden. His sex is hidden. Crypto.
Yeah, cryptosexual. What are you up to, Doctor? I'm just over here being cryptosexual.
I'm being crypto. In me crypto.
She identifies as ?
I'm creeping to be
cryptosexual.
Does that go back to Tom Baker then, with the question marks on the collar?
Yeah.
Actually, Tom Baker was just uber sexual as far as I can work out.
He talks about it in his biography, doesn't he? Young fans jumping into his bed all the time.
He was known as the roundiest man in equity in the 70s.
I love. Have you ever heard the talking book version of Tom's biography?
No.
And there's that whole bit in there about when he was a kid, when he was with the group of kids that used to wank, basically.
Oh, I remember that bit,
yeah.
And there's just a bit in the talking book where he goes, "So I left the wankers." It's just that phrase just always made me laugh. So I left the wankers.
You think you know bad, huh? You're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A choir boy.
It does seem to be this slight element of them saying we mustn't make her in any way feminine. You know,
feminine, yeah. Well,
so she mustn't ever wear a skirt, or or kiss somebody, or do anything that could be in any way regarded as feminine. My dread when they cast a woman, when they were talking about casting a woman before they cast her, was always that they would cast, and I apologize for this phrase, a man with tits, which is basically, a woman.
Well, they've written it as if it's a man.
Behaves exactly like a man.
Yeah.
And to an extent, she is.
Well, the similarity to Tennant. That's pointed out before. I mean, she is, very 10th Doctor. It's another reason I keep trying to think of something interesting to say in this episode, but I was going, that's going to be the same. The dialogue is going to be the same.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why.
Yeah, there's nothing you can put your finger on that's different, particularly.
No, not really.
irrelevant in many ways.
Except that it's probably going to fly a bit better with Tennant, but it
Mm.
did.
Well, yeah. I mean, when they
No.
cast a woman doctor, I was assuming there'd be all kinds of implications from this that they'd maybe talk about, and they just ignored it, really.
Like so many things, there's been an awful lot of wasted potential to my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to make a big deal of it, but I thought they'd make more of a big deal of it than they did. So
yeah, I agree. But hey,
Yeah.
So Renette leaves, and the doctor works out who she is. There's a sort of random guy comes in, says, "Yes, this is Renette Poisson," and the doctor says, "I've snogged Mme de Pompadour," and goes back in the fireplace.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably says exactly the same thing.
Yeah, probably in exactly the same way.
Yeah, just with a Yorkshire accent.
She returns to the ship and meets a horse.
Yes.
There's a horse there. Meanwhile, companions, Yaz and Dan, they're finding parts of the ship are made of organic matter. They find an eye and a heart and stuff like that. And there's lots of big windows which they can see the King of France and various people moving about.
And this is all lovely stuff in the original. This is kind of like it reminded me of Adventure 3 of Sapphire and Steel, where you've got the whole visceral. So one, you've got windows looking into different houses all over the country, all over the world, or whatever that these people have built, and two, it's powered by bits of animal.
Which is sinister and not very nice.
Actually, thinking about it, that's a really direct connection. I bet Moffat sees Sapphire and Steel. Just say.
He's of our generation.
Indeed. But lovely scenes in the original. I imagine lovely scenes in this version as well.
Yeah. There's an odd little scene where the doctor takes a random door and is in a garden. Somewhere, which it doesn't seem to fit in with anything around it. It's kind of, I don't know if it's padding or what. It's strange.
As far as I can tell, it's just there to kind of build Renette a bit, isn't it? Hasn't it got some bit of character development in there for her?
Well, she's chatting away to some friend that never turns up in any other scene about how she wants to be mistress to the King of France. But it doesn't seem to add much. You could cut this scene, and honestly, you'd lose nothing.
Was it just a demonstration of these places lead to actual other time zones?
Maybe,
physically.
Other places.
You can literally walk through not just that one, but this one too. Perhaps. Let's ask Stephen Moffat. Moffat, what's this scene about? You're listening, Moffat? Could you tweet us about it? Cheers. We'll get you something from the shop. We're already down there for Chris anyway. He's having a lie down.
No, please.
It's the voices, man. It's the voices in his head.
Chris, you don't need anything from the shop.
We're worried about him. He keeps muttering about Robert Holmes and Whittaker, whoever Whittaker is. Personalities that seem to be developing.
Please, get me a curly whirly, please.
Recently, he just apparently sat bolt upright in bed in the middle of the night, showing "Go away, Saywood!" But no one knows what's going on there.
Who hasn't done that? Come on.
How about Time Ram?
Time Ram? You couldn't do it in that old crock.
Wolf. Time Ram. Londoners.
The next time we see them, the doctor just pops up and joins Dan and Yaz again.
Yep.
And they're looking through more windows, and it's as if the ship's stalking Madame de Pompadour. So there's different points in her life that you can get to, and they just look at this.
Is that a comment on internet fandom? Do you think?
Could be, maybe. Imagine it was quite early days, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were still weird stalkers though.
Every time occasionally they see a broken clock, and so they step in and they freeze another clockwork woman. So these robots basically, they're trying to repair the ship, but they don't have the parts. But they'll only sort of explain this. Can't get the parts, can you, mate? Can't get the parts. They only explain this when Renette asks. They won't talk to anyone else. And we realise that they've used the crew.
They should have had a line in, the typical thing of a workman is to go, "Oh, you've had some right cowboys in here." They could look at some bits of flesh and go, "Oh, you've got some right cowboys in here."
I'm astonished that Moffat resisted the temptation to put that in.
Indeed.
Just a pair of abandoned spurs laying on the side.
Moffat, why didn't you think of that? Addendum. just tweet to us, just answer. Thanks. Oh, us. Because we're fans.
So the crew are in the ship, but in bits. So they only need one more part, and that's Renette, but she's incomplete. And so they say, well, why her? And the robot just says, we are the same, and teleports away. They go back to the ship. Well, Dan and Yaz go back to the ship and almost immediately get captured. And then we
It's not like Dan immediately getting captured.
He'll get his cutters out and give it a bit of a wave. He'll give it some daring do. He'll cut a rope and the scene will suddenly go really badly edited and Yaz will fall over. And the robots will capture them.
That does seem to be Dan's thing in the series, doesn't it? It's kind of going somewhere, getting immediately captured.
Yeah. It's fun being a bit of comic relief, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I like Dan. I mean, he's obviously...
Oh, yeah.
John Bishop plays
Dan. I like Dan.
Charmingly.
Yeah.
But most of what I like about Dan is entirely brought by John Bishop, as far as I can make out.
Again, with everyone in this era, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, same with Graham.
Yeah.
I mean, Mandip Gill really, really trying hard.
Yep, absolutely.
With nothing.
Little.
Yeah.
I was slightly more charitable than you, but you were probably slightly more accurate than me.
It's only Toes and Cole that really just can't be bothered, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we've gone for the Dan team today. So, Tozen, when Moffat's finished, just answer this. Thank you. Well, I really hope either of them do. Shit, that'd be terrible.
So we get the scene, this sort of memorable scene where the Doctor kind of does a mind meld with Renette.
And Renette does it right back.
Renette does it right back at...
Right, so now Renette's going to be going about the timeless child, isn't she?
Yeah. Such a lonely girl. Yeah.
Such a lonely, timeless girl.
Yeah.
Without time. No seconds or minutes and things.
Like we just not do the timeless child.
Time. Like that.
Let's retcon the timeless child out.
It's half human all over again, isn't it? We all panicked about that in 1996. But what is it now? Just that.
Yeah. Said, no, that's not right, and we just ignored it.
Yeah, that's not right. So the timeless child will. Or we have to actually just take the Doctor at their word all the time. So both half human and the timeless child, and also the Gallifrey. So I think this now points, along with another piece of evidence, to a 3-universe theory of Doctor Who. You've got a split of 2 universes with the unit dating, obviously. Happens in the 80s, happens in the 70s.
Yeah.
You've got the 3 destructions of Atlantis.
Yeah. I was thinking Atlantis. That's the 3 there. So 3 universes right there.
That's the 3-universe theory. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So Terry Pratchett famously called it the trousers of time.
The trousers of time.
So
there we go.
Yeah.
So and with that we can explain everything from now on.
Yeah. Trousers of time.
Time war on steroids.
Yeah.
Oh, please be quiet.
So we probably talk about Renette. So she's now 23 at this point.
Yeah.
And she'll be complete at 37. And that's the point when the robots step in and take her brain.
Yeah.
So not a happy place.
No.
Yeah. The reason for 37 is that's the age of the ship. The ship is 37 years old, and it's waiting for her to be 37 years. It doesn't make any sense, but that's apparently what the reason is.
Yeah.
And in the Chibnall era, it's not going to make any more sense than that.
No. I'm just wondering what on earth we'll be putting on top. I suppose you wouldn't touch them off at script. Moffat, have the whack to go. Hey, fuck up.
Oi.
Okay, touch fucking my script. Because that's how they talk.
No, Chris.
Chris. I'll split you.
So this is the thing where Renette takes the Doctor for a dance in France.
Yeah,
all ladies
for
together.
Reasons.
Just for a good time, I think.
Usual reason for a dance, I suppose. Isn't it?
Well, I mean, the problem this episode's got is meant to sort of build up their relationship into something really significant. But I mean, if you look at it,
this one, is it?
he meets her for maybe like 10 minutes of her life. You know, it's kind of
and part of that she's about 12. So
indeed, yeah.
Well, I did very much think that it worked from her side. You know, I think it was written and played very well. This thing of he just comes and goes, and she is left pining and wondering the rest of the time and obsessing.
Yeah, they sell it, but it doesn't make any sense. And again, it is that Moffat thing, isn't it, where he meets her as a young girl and then it gets romantically involved with her later on, which is he does about 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris is going to do that.
No, it's from that novel, isn't it? The Time Traveler's Wife, which I think Moffat's a big fan of. But it always seemed a bit dodgy to me. I've never quite. Is it to you?
Yeah. It's certainly cropped up from time to time as a topic of conversation.
I think once you could get away with it, but when you've used the same kind of concept trope, 3 times, you're thinking, there's a bit of a sort of thing here.
Yeah, so all these people are going about sort of Emma Watson, and I can't see it because the first time we saw her in the cinema, she was 11. She's still that age for me. Is it? Yeah. It's kind of I don't.
Yeah.
It's not right. Anyway, slightly off topic.
Are you ready to travel through time with us? Then check out Traveling the Vortex, a Doctor Who podcast. For nearly 7 years and more than 500 episodes, we've traveled from one end of the vortex to the other, making different stops with different doctors, reviewing everything from TV stories to audio plays, from books to comics, and more. Sean, Keith, and Glenn take you on a journey through 50-plus years of Doctor Who episodes and spin-off materials. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, so be sure to check us out. And now, we're a proud member of Direction Point, a Doctor Who podcast network. You're listening to Time Ram, a Direction Point podcast.
So we cut to the companions, Yaz and Dan. They're strapped to operating tables and they're going to get chopped up.
Yeah, Dan's being very witty about it.
Yeah.
I bet Dan gets a phone call from that woman who's really arsey with them saying, "You're late."
Yeah.
I'm stuck on an operating table about to be dissected. Oh yeah, sure you are. I don't know how he's answering his phone.
It's always some excuse for you,
isn't it? Telekinesis.
You starting?
Scout power.
You mean that storyline that's never actually resolved in the...
Of course not.
No, it doesn't go anywhere with it, no.
That's fine. We're in the 13th Doctor era. It doesn't have to be. The normal rules of storytelling are suspended now.
Yeah, nothing gets tied up. No.
It's kind of like being in the land of not really fiction.
Yeah.
You are not in control of your television set.
The voices are starting again. This one's called Tosh.
We get a very tenant scene where he comes in. He's either drunk or he's pretending to be drunk.
He's pretending to be.
Yeah. And he's kind of going, "Have you met the French?"
Is she going to do that? I can't imagine. Jodie's doctor pretending to be drunk.
Yeah, Jodie's not really.
Though I think
that.
It would be absolutely great if she did. There should be more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like this complete. It's a complete act to hoodwink the robots.
Yeah, distract the robots, and then
like, Troughton wouldn't come in drunk. It's the sort of thing Troughton would do: flim flam and foolery, and I'm so stupid and clumsy, and I've just sorted the whole thing out.
Yeah.
So that would let's let her do this.
Yeah.
So the doctor comes in and nobbles the robot, so tips some wine over its head or something. I think something like that.
Oily, whiny stuff, something like that. Yeah.
Oily, whiny stuff.
Oily, whiny.
Oh yeah, Timey Wimey Oily Winey.
Doctor Who Oily Wine. Doctor Who Timey Wimey Oily Winey. Lovely. Never be able to say that again that fluently. Was a one-off.
So their next task is to close the time windows, but they can't do that for reasons. So
because they haven't got Everest double glazing. But the best Everest.
So Renette's going on through her life. There's a scene in the original version, at least, where Rose meets her. She's at 32 now. Like a sort of aging.
Well, this would be Yaz meeting her then, and Yaz takes one look at her and just starts lamping her one. Says, "Get off the doctor."
It's just the
breaking her
revelation
nose
that
and
you
things
really
like
like
that.
it. Yeah. Again, this scene doesn't do much, but I mean, she's kind of
Dan's kind
saying
of like
that.
holding her back, going, "Hey, come on now, fucking hell!"
I can't get a bird either.
Getting shouted at by my date, and you're beating up the doctors.
Yeah, so Renette at this point has 5 years left before the robots come to harvest her brain.
And a broken nose.
And a broken nose. Well, the fight goes back into the ship.
Right.
And she gets to see
There's blood everywhere. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's visceral. This is really radgy. She's gone completely.
And she's a policewoman as well. I don't know.
And a policewoman as well. Yeah, it's sad.
kinda...
Yeah, it's part of her arc, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to say there'll be a redemptive arc at the end of this, but it won't go anywhere.
So yeah, it's all quite atmospheric, but yeah, it doesn't really. We don't really learn a lot. But Renette decides that she must take the slow path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's some quite nice dialogue about how the doctor's worth the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been terribly brave. And then 5 years later, which is where the pre-credit came in.
Yep.
They've come for her. They're attacking everyone. And to save her, the doctor needs to smash through a time window to get in.
Yeah. And this is the only effect, I think, in this episode which is dodgy. I just don't think
it's quite dodgy, but it was terrible. Right at the edge of what it was doing. Yeah.
I think it would be massively improved in this version. I think it would look great.
Yeah.
I also don't like Tennant's kind of crazy wink that he does.
I don't like Tennant's crazy
on the
wink.
horse. It's just
it's OTT. Yeah.
Don't do crazy wink.
He's very much doing.
A bit. It's just,
you know, I'm cool.
It's almost kind of.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit Dick Van Dyke to the max.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
Moving into kind of Dick Van Dyke.
They know if they bust this last window, that breaks the link with the ship. He can't do it, but then or she jumps in on the horse, comes through the mirror, and that's it.
And I think Jodie, unfortunately, is going to do something almost as easy and horrible as the wink. It'll be a line or something, and it'll be bad.
She'll be doing a sort of lightning dialogue where she just talks and talks, doesn't she? She just talks really quickly. Yeah. Which again is a Tennant trope, but it's
a doctor trope. It's absolutely a doctor trope.
So the robots lose their connection with the ship. So because they're clockwork, there's nothing powering them. So they all just wind down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And the doctor's trapped there in 18th century France. And Dan and Yaz are trapped on the ship in deep space. And it's not looking that good for them.
End of season.
Just stop there.
Of course, the problem you've got in the 13th Doctor's era is that Yaz can fly the fucking TARDIS.
So yeah, they're not quite.
Contrivance, TARDIS doesn't work.
Yeah.
Red's radiation.
Yeah.
Oh, there's all the time.
I don't think
windows are, because they're not Everest. The time windows are giving out time radiation. So if they're trying to fly the TARDIS,
I don't think any companion apart, unless it's somebody like Romana, who's a Gallifreyan. No companion should be able to fly the TARDIS well.
Yeah. That's too much. Yeah.
Adric managed it once.
Tegan managed it once.
Yeah.
No.
But only
Did he make a right old balls up of it?
He made a right old balls of it and got a hard stare from the Doctor, which was frankly a bit rich.
Yeah.
Really, it was a bit much, that. I'm all for casting aspersions on the Alzarian, but only when it's fair.
This is the Doctor. Present point, the High Council Time Box. Keeper of the legacy of Rassilon. Defender of the laws of time. Protector of Gallifrey.
We left the companions trapped in deep space.
Yes.
The Doctor's now on the slow path with Renette. She's tempted to let the Doctor stay there. But then shows her the fireplace, an old fireplace in her own room, which she had transported to Versailles. When she did that, the link was broken, which means the Doctor can reactivate it. So the Doctor promises to take her to the stars.
Do either of you ever think about a version of this where the Doctor went, nah, and just deactivated the fireplace and just went on the slow path and did, eventually be told with the companions and save them? It'd be fine. probably in a different body. Like stayed on Earth for fucking ages.
Well, yeah, he's got sort of 3,000 years in which to kind of sort of catch up with them, isn't he?
Well, except you wouldn't, because when I was the Doctor, I'd think, right, and think through every single adventure I had and go, where am I turning up next? When's the soonest I'm going to get here? And where do I have to steps? And just go, need to borrow the TARDIS.
Need to go just rescue them.
Put me off there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hartnell's kind of go, oh, your TARDIS is buggered. I can't do it. For fuck's sake. Have you got a Dalek time machine handy?
It'd be funny if he'd stayed there as the 10th, and then by the time he meets up with them again, he's the 14th, and they're going, oh, you haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
Well, actually.
I think you'll find.
I think you'll find I've been a woman in the meantime.
And
a Scotsman.
Considerably older.
But not yet. A Scottish woman.
Oh.
Neither have I been ginger.
By the time you hear this, I will be dead.
Starting to turn in. I told you to blow the bloody doors off.
Well, I was going realistic, but
yeah.
People were always trying to cram spinach down my throat when I was young. They kept saying, come on, EL, eat up your spinach, it's good for you. Come along, eat up your spinach, EL, or you'll never grow up to be big and strong and hairy like Auntie Stella.
So, the Doctor says 2 minutes, pack a bag. Rejoins Dan and Yaz.
Mm-hmm.
Or Yaz and Dan, perhaps I should swap it. Yaz and Dan. Yaz and Dan.
Yan. Daz.
Yan. Rejoins Yan. Daz.
Daz and Yan.
Only for a second, and then goes back through the fireplace. He's going through this fucking fireplace so many times. It's just...
Now, I did think to myself, this was a bit stupid of the Doctor.
Yeah.
The Doctor knows perfectly well how the fireplace works.
Learn your fucking lesson. Yeah.
Time Lord. It's kind of in the job description.
Literally gone there for no reason, and then, dives back in, and then is surprised to find...
Have done that.
No.
Just saying.
Yeah. It's surprised to find that it's now 6 years later.
Yeah.
There's the King. He's looking a bit miserable. Says you just missed her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And passes on a letter. And then, she died. She died age 43.
Yeah.
Which is, from history and true. So
this has kind of worked out in the Doctor's favour, because that could have happened in the TARDIS, and we could have gotten the TARDIS and went, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's really embarrassing. And her nose is a mess. What's happened to her nose? How did it get in this state?
Well, she broke her nose like 10 years earlier, and that's led to a terrible abscess.
You set badly. I mean, this is
which is ultimately done for her. Yeah. Medicine's a bit unadvanced. Yeah. So
just kind of grabbing onto the Doctor, going, I don't care.
So Yaz has killed her. Okay, good.
Yeah.
This got dark.
It has. Yeah. Well, we have to vary it somehow, don't we?
Yeah. You just have the Doctor going, well, I've got a TARDIS. I can just go back 6 years. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, Doctor.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
The TARDIS is broken.
Yeah. It's so tragic. It's like, no, you could just go back to any point and just,
Yeah.
No. It can't be done.
Yeah. But did it become a fixed point or something? Fixed points aren't they?
It will have been. Yeah.
Probably because she wrote a letter. That was her error. That was a schoolboy error.
That became fixed, did she?
She wrote a letter saying, I never saw you again, did I, Doctor? It's like, ugh.
So if something's franked by the post office, does that make it a fixed point?
That's right. That's how history works.
Someone franked Davros at some point.
Yeah. For example. The post office basically controls time.
That's incredible. I love that. Right, now you see, now we're taking it in a different direction. Now we're starting.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the episode.
This is why the government's worried, because if the Royal Mail goes on strike, the universe ends. So
That's
the universe ending. Yeah. So
I want to do a story about the Time Post Office now.
I also want to do a story about the Time Post Office.
Yeah. I was going to use this bit, but we should keep it ourselves now. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we should.
Yes.
So the Doctor goes back to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Still doesn't know why the robots wanted Mme de Pompadour.
Nope.
Yaz finally kind of clues in that maybe the Doctor's not terribly happy and asks if she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jodie looks off into the middle distance and goes, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
She always does when Yaz goes, "No, let me in." And the doctor goes, "No." Repeat ad nauseum.
And Dan does that thing where he kind of
Have
says,
an ice cream.
"Come on, Yaz, show me the."
Yeah, come on, show me where the toilet is again.
Yeah. Can't find it.
For God's sake, tell me where I can get another set of clothes and somewhere to put my cutlass.
Just sort of leaves her away.
Yep.
So the doctor can read the letter,
Yep.
the tragic final letter, which and that's
tragic final letter, and then opens a little hole in the TARDIS and says, "Store this."
Drops it in.
And it goes
Never
down
looks
there,
at it
and it's never heard of again.
Yeah, never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this
letter idea waste disposal unit. It's kind of like that's a really bad idea. Just get rid of that. Right, gone. That's erased from history.
It just lands on a little pile of like pocket watches and custard
yeah,
creams.
yeah.
Things we don't talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Original season 23. That's there.
It's quite good. It's quite good. This episode goes nowhere. Yeah, it kind of fits in nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but there's a nice twist at the end. They deactivate the fireplace.
Yeah.
TARDIS leaves, and then we realize
she activates the massive piece of earwax that's a console.
Yes. A great six.
With overreaching pieces of earwax that kind of come in at you like horrible dead fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a terrible TARDIS.
Terrible TARDIS.
And we learn that the ship is called SS Mme de Pompadour. So yeah.
Great.
Enspleenment.
Excellent ending. I mean, it's a great episode, the original version.
It is a great episode.
Superb, you know.
And it still will be a great episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's easily beat any other.
Way ahead.
Episode, really. So
it's
yeah,
a coherent script and everything's dealt with and finished.
Yeah,
and it tugs at the heartstrings and makes you laugh. Yeah, great.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of lapses in logic, but other than that, it's good.
If it wasn't for the other major classics this season, like Caves of Androzani and Talons of Weng Chiang, it was easily a one-season survey, but it was up against stiff competition.
We've had Caves.
We did have Caves, yeah, we did.
We've had Caves. That was a Capaldi story.
3 universes of Doctor Who. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Right.
We've never come up against that yet, have we? Of getting a story we've already had.
No.
We just have to.
That'll bloody happen now, won't it? When we
yes, it will happen now.
I mean, is this better or worse? It's about the same.
I would say the same.
We haven't changed anything.
I think it's going to be worse because of the Doctor.
You're not a Jodie fan, yeah.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Want to be. I just don't think. I don't know. Given a script like this, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to see what she'd be able to do with.
It's just I've said this to you guys before. When people say, "Oh, it's Chibnall's fault," I think it's not entirely Chibnall's fault. You know, I do think there's just been something lacking. From her performance. Couldn't tell you what. Not blaming her or anything like that. You know, I'm certainly not asking for her head. It's just purely my personal taste. But
it does feel like she's watched Tennant episodes and gone, "That's the Doctor," and not really explored beyond that.
Maybe, yeah. You know, someone said on a forum a while ago, imagine if Jodie suddenly watched Capaldi's big speech from the Zygon story and come out, "Oh, that, right."
Yeah.
And I thought, that kind of illustrates it. So, you know, much as in production terms, obviously, but I mean, improved in production terms because
I'm sure it'd be more expensively made, better.
Yeah.
Because that mirror special effect is a terrible special effect.
It's shonky,
It's awful.
It was almost. It did make me kind of think, Doctor Who. Well, you can still do it. But, yeah.
So if we'd got this in the Pertwee era, would it have been like Spearhead from Space, where you just hear the mirror smashing, and then he comes galloping up on a horse,
and then coming
brushing
out,
bits of mirror off his denim jacket.
Yeah,
denim jacket.
That's a different.
He's wearing a denim jacket.
So I'm engaging the random number generator.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the doctor we've got is 13.
Oh, okay.
Again.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Do we do that, or do we have a rule of not doing
Well,
that?
it is the new year, so we do have our grades back. So if anyone does want to veto,
No, I'll not.
I don't think I'll veto,
No.
but if you wanted to, the
No,
option
because I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we get a classic series
let's
story.
see. So it's 300 now. Here we go. We have story 110.
100
Tom Baker.
Oh,
Tom Baker,
yes.
yeah. It's very quiet.
Very quiet.
Very quiet.
Oh.
That'd be brilliant to have Barry Cryer as a companion.
To have Barry Cryer as the doctor. What?
Oh, dear. Well, I can't say it's a classic. Jodie Whittaker starring in Meglos.
You know, I was thinking Meglos. I was kind of thinking, I bet it's Meglos.
I thought, was it the Horns of
Yes.
Mine one? I thought it's not quite right. No, I was 2 out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jodie Whittaker and Meglos.
Jodie Whittaker and Meglos.
Yes.
There you are.
That's
So-
instantly a more interesting program. Possibly not a better episode, but a more interesting
More
Yes,
interesting
that's more
concept.
like it.
We might have to do
Yeah.
a few more changes to it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know.
Just one or two.
And she really gets a chance to act. You know, she gets to play Meglos as well.
Yeah.
True.
And we get
Yes.
Spiky Jodie.
Yeah. Spiky Jodie. Yeah.
Now that
yeah.
would be a great. I might have to go shopping that. That would be a great image.
Yeah.
Stick out
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
Curious to see if I can do it. Probably can actually. Wouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, I might have to go to Spiky Jodie.
Yeah. Somebody should develop a megalosizing app. So you just put your picture in and you become Meglos.
You become Meglos.
That'd be brilliant.
If anyone knows a programmer, we should do that immediately because that would certainly sell them on Doctor Who.
That would sell. That would sell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got legs and
Yeah.
spines.
Well, I mean, you could do so many variations. You could do a Scaroth. You know, just your head comes apart and.
Oh, yeah. Nice,
yeah.
nice. Do a Sutek, your eyes suddenly light up green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a Davros. You've got a third eye in the middle of your forehead. Going.
Nice.
Yeah.
You can have a Centauri, just the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a William Hartnell and your hands come up to your lapels.
Yeah. Start being racist. That can go.
Yes.
You've been listening to, if you're still here, Time Ram. We've been Barry Williams, Rupert Booth, and Paul Ferry. If you wish to contact us further, we are on Twitter. If Twitter's still there in the future, where you are, we don't know. It might not be. But I'm on there as @BazTimeRam. Paul is @PaulFerry8, and Rupert is @Rupert Booth. If you follow the hashtag TimeRam, you can track us down that way. I need to say thanks to Ben Jones for providing our music. And if you'd like to support the show, please do consider leaving a review, maybe on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. We also have a Patreon site where you can get access to extra content. So check that out if you want to. And we'll see you next time with Jodie Whittaker in Meglos.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
What about the end of Rainbow?
Goodbye.
I love you.
I think there's a few bits in this episode can go, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be a slim one.
Feel free to get rid of a man with tits.
Well, you just take them out.
Yeah.
It just sounds like kind of Western to me.
A man with tits.
Where does it come from? Where did they come from? What? You brought. tell you that either, can we?
Not really.
No.
I do like it.
A Doctor Who podcast network.